Hello there, Cancer. This is Sherry Simpson coming to you from Armstrong, British Columbia. It is the 18th of March, 2018, after the new moon happened yesterday. New moon happened at 26 degrees in Pisces and on the 17th, so there's a lot of 8 energy that's coming with the new moon, which is abundance, which I'm sure is going to be exciting for most of you who are listening to this, because I feel like abundance is something that you have been working on, an abundance in receiving abundance in different ways, creating abundance in different ways, and that abundance is about relationships and connectedness for you, as well as an abundance of money and wealth. And there's aspects of abundance connected to balance and connecting the safety is coming up, but I get the sense that abundance in the sense of the 8 connecting your higher self and your ego self, and you finally ditching all of those things that keep going on in your head. So when I opened up to your energy, I was like flooded by this like overwhelming sense of the chitter chatter in your mind that I'm hearing. Like, that's not perfect. I can't do that. I don't want to do that twice. I'll feel naked if I do that. I can't do that until my body looks a certain way. I can't do this until I have enough money saved in the bank. So there's a lot of can'ts, and the can'ts are like really loud, and they're like screaming in that ear, and it's almost like you want to do forward motion, and then you're like, no, I can't do that yet. You want to do forward motion, and then you're like, no, I can't do that yet. You want to do forward motion, and you can't do that yet. And it's almost like I hear the emotional side of you in your shell in the ocean, and it's as though one wave goes by, and I hear a sense of absolutely you're worthy and deserving of that, and then something else retracts as the wave comes back and says, are you sure I'm worthy of that? I'm not sure. Of course you're worthy of that. I don't know if I'm worthy of that. And that's almost like you've been going through this like weird wave pattern. So it's as though you've been taking a couple steps forward and then getting pulled back, and taking a couple steps forward and getting pulled back. And I get the same idea with you, that you're ready to expand the shell that you're in, and you get out and you take a couple steps and you're like, yeah, this is awesome. This feels great. I'm going to find myself a new shell. This is awesome. And then you're like, holy crap, I'm naked. And then you have this sense of oh my goodness, people are going to see that mole that I have, and people are going to see that this wrinkle over here, people are going to see this, and oh my God, this isn't perfect, and I need to go back and find my shell. And so instead of moving forward, you end up sort of freaking out in that place of, what are other people going to think? How can I be doing this? Oh my God, I'm not perfect. Am I still going to be worthy? Am I still going to be lovable? Oh my God, like, what is going on? And I almost feel like you're pulling at your hair, thinking like, oh my God, I really want to do this, but I don't know. And you're just sort of stuck, and you're kind of wishy-washy, and you know it's time, but you don't really want to make the actual the decision you want to make, but the actual action you're not so sure about. Or if you take some steps toward the action, then something sort of slaps you back, just like the ocean water does that and the moon does that wax and wane. And so your energy is really interesting. But I get the sense that it's definitely time for you to heal some of those horrible thoughts from the past. It's definitely time for you to expand your abundance in your wealth and your health and your relationships, and call in more relationships that are serving you better, that are about unconditional love, and that are about unconditional acceptance, and that are about I have to look up moth for you. There's 2 moths in the ceiling for some reason all of a sudden. For some reason I was inspired to look, so there's 2. Maybe relationships are going to be big for you. Let's look at that now, since I've just called in the moth for some reason. So if you've had any other animal wisdom that has been coming to you that you've been like, why are the magpies flying all over? Why are the flies everywhere? Why are the ladybugs everywhere? Then this is a really great book that you can check them out in. It's Pocket Guide to Spirit Animals by Dr. Stephen Farmer. And I'm looking up the moth for you. The moth says a letter, email, or package will be coming shortly, bringing important news. Whatever has been hidden or veiled is about to be revealed. And the relationship aspect of this is if you're single, focus your intention on attracting a romantic partner. And once you do, trust your senses as to whether or not this person is a good match. And if you're in a romantic and intimate relationship already, then you can enhance your attraction factor by using essential oils or something more natural, rather than enhancing your intimacy and how you're smelling and your pheromones with the other sex that you're with, the other partner that you're with, rather than using perfumes or colognes. So there's two of them on the ceiling right over top of my head. Whatever has been hidden or veiled is about to be revealed. And that's interesting because I almost get the sense that that might be you. So you may have been keeping yourself hidden, and it's now actually time for you, to unveil the new you, to release what has not been serving you and get rid of it, and to bring in, oh yeah, I get the hair on my arm sitting up on that, to bring in what it is that is new to you, that is healing to you. I'm going to pull some cards for you. So we also have Mercury going retrograde, and the Mercury going retrograde this time around, yes, there's going to be a lot of things that are healing communication, as is, oh, there we go, healing begins almost, as is what Mercury retrograde does. And so Mercury isn't quite retrograde yet. Over the last 1.5 weeks into the next couple of days, there's our second card. Any people, situations, circumstances that have been coming up that you've been dreaming about, people that have been calling or texting you out of the blue, anything or anyone that you've been thinking about, those are the communication, relationship situations that are going to be relevant, that you're going to be working on while Mercury is retrograde. So paying attention to those now and doing a little bit of back thinking for the last 1.5 weeks or so, because that is what you're going to be dealing with and healing. This one doesn't want to come up yet, so let's just deal with the 3 that we have. So I like to work with usually about 4 cards that sometimes end up being 8 or more cards, but we'll see what happens. So I like to work, oh, interesting, your cards have all come up upside down so far, which is really interesting as well, because Mercury's going retrograde. The new moon just happened, so everything is kind of in darkness right now, and Jupiter's currently retrograde. So things are upside down, and things are going slow, and we're healing the past, and we're dealing with communications, and we're getting rid of stuff. So very interesting that these are all upside down. And so the people and experiences and things that you've been thinking about are now ready to be healed. So those are the things that are going to come up. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're meant to actually call certain people or text people or see them in person. It just means that there's some sense of remodeling the brain and the situation and the experience in a way to release what's not serving you and reconnect with what it is that you do want, so that you can move forward with what you want. Okay, so the first card that came up is Healing Begins. And I get the sense that you've already been doing a lot of healing, and the healing that you have been doing is likely on some levels or layers. So maybe you've been doing a lot of healing with your thoughts and a lot of healing with your emotions, but maybe you haven't been doing as much healing on a physical level as you need to, because this is the physical level card. And so, or you've been doing a lot of healing on the physical level, and it's now time to actually end that cycle. It's a 6, so it's about nourishment and balancing and harmony after a big transformation. So if you have been going through a bunch of healing, and muscles keeps coming up to me, strength keeps coming up, flexibility keeps coming up, and balancing strength and flexibility and balancing muscles. And for some reason, the glute muscle is actually coming up for me. And that is like the seat of the soul. So perhaps it's one of those time frames where you actually need to connect in to what it is that you want at a soul level, because maybe you have only been thinking and healing on a physical level, and that's not quite deep enough for what you need to heal. And so maybe some of that is going to come through for you over the next 3 weeks when Mercury is retrograde. So this card is a woman with a heart in a very interesting heart in an 8. So I mentioned abundance, and I mentioned that we're connecting the spiritual self with the ego self with that 8. And I usually see the 8 as being overlapping at a certain chakra. And this one, she's actually got the heart that's on her chest. You can't really see it in this picture. It's not the green thing that's glowing on her chest, but there's actually a heart in the shape of an 8 that is bigger on the top and smaller at the bottom. And I get the sense that this is over top of her solar plexus, but if we think about the 8 connected down to the bottom and up to the top, I get the sense that that does have to do with relationships for you. And I get the sense that it's more connected to the sacral chakra, healing your relationships, healing your creativity, healing what it is that it's time for you to birth. And very interesting too, because I get that message, and this is the 6th card, which has to do with nurturing, and it often has to do with like nurturing the self, or nurturing babies, or nurturing projects or businesses or ideas or concepts or things like that. So I get the sense that there's some healing for you after a period of transformation, and it's going to be connecting for you. She's wearing big earrings, which are kind of loud for me in this picture, and that makes me think that you need to be open while Mercury is retrograde to actually hearing things in a different way. And so it's not as though you're healing your ears, though you could be, but I get the sense that you're shifting the things that you hear yourself say to yourself, as well as shifting the things that people are saying to you. And you have been doing some things with this, but it's time to change the way you listen, is the message I get. Yes, for some reason the glutes came in, and some reason the quadriceps come in as well. The quadriceps are a really square, there's 4 muscles in the quadriceps on the front of the thigh, at the top of the thigh. They're a very powerful muscle. They're stronger than the muscles in the back of the body that oppose them, which are your hamstrings. So the quadriceps, they're postural, so you use them all the time. And that means that they are stronger than the muscles in the back. And so if you've been asking the muscles in the front to pull you, but you haven't been actually balancing the muscles in your glutes, which can push you, then the push-pull, interesting, because I was talking about that wave and that push-pull, then the push-pull needs to be more balanced for you. So allowing, if your quads are stronger, that forward movement to happen, but in order for the forward movement to happen, there has to be an equal push-pull, with the glutes being able to move you, like push you forward, as well as the quads being able to pull you forward. So there's a sense of balancing the front of your body and the back of your body on a physical level. Just sort of interesting when I look at this picture too, because a lot of times when we go to the gym and we look at ourselves in the mirror, we have a tendency to only work on the front of the body. And with her peeking in and looking at the front of the body, it actually makes me think, because it's in reverse, that you actually need to be balancing on a physical level the muscles that are behind you as well. So if you're doing a lot of push-ups, then add some rows. If you're doing a lot of things for your abdominals, then make sure you're doing some of those Superman exercises so that you're balancing your back as well. If you've been doing a lot of things for the quads, you also have to balance the hamstrings. And so I get the sense that the 6 is about nurturing and balance, and that push-pull has to be equal for you. So you're healing and balancing things at a different level than what you have been, which makes me think it wasn't about healing beginning, but it's about healing changing in some way. The next card that came through is the logical card, which is very interesting because when I look at it, I want to talk about it as though it is the emotional card. So changing your focus. Oh, that's interesting. So I get the sense that it's kind of both. So if you have been thinking things through more logically or more heart-centered, then you particularly, so it's different for some of you, have to switch and balance those as well. So if you have been playing chess and you have been in your head and you've been thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking things, then it's time for you to change your focus to feeling things. And if you're one of those people, because Cancer's emotions run really deep, and sometimes you do wear your heart on your sleeve. So there are some of you that will be more heart-centered, that lead from your heart, that have been excluding logic. So I get the sense that more of you have been thinking more logically and excluding the emotions. So whichever way that resonates for you, it's time for you to switch your focus so that you're focusing on a balance between what is logical, what thoughts you have that create the beliefs you have, looking into your past, because this woman is definitely sending some doves back to her past, and looking into your past. The hair on my arms is standing up there, sending some healing back there, and allowing yourself to come to some kind of realization or conclusion that the strict way that you've been focusing and thinking served you for long enough, but it's not going to serve you as you're going into the future. So something needs to change on your focus about what it is, how you've been seeing the past, how you've been thinking, and how you've been feeling, because it needs a shift. And it needs a shift from a perspective of love, not from a perspective of fear, which may be where you have been resonating. So if you've been resonating on an emotional sense, maybe that's why only 3 cards came up, because this is actually both the logical and the emotional card. I get a yes on that. Ooh. The change of focus needs to be balanced. Healing the past needs to happen, sending the doves back there, allowing your focus to be forgiving, releasing the fear, and changing it to love. I get allowing. So if you've been wishy-washy on what you've been asking the universe for and you've been blocking it for some reason, then you need to deliberately create, but then you sort of need to throw caution to the wind and allow it to come. So what does that mean? This morning I was looking out a window upstairs, and I haven't seen an eagle in a while, and this morning I just made sort of a whimsical request, and I just sort of thought in my head, boy, it'd be really cool to see an eagle spirit message today, because I haven't seen one in a while. And I was out walking the dog about 20 minutes later, and I was totally distracted because there was a huge sundog out that I was taking pictures of. And I had actually texted the neighbor and said, hey, there's a huge sundog out. If you haven't been outside, come and see it. And so I was totally distracted, and I ended up turning, and an eagle was flying like right over top of my head along a path that I was walking to, and it came from where my path was going, and it went over my head along the path that I came from. And I was like, whoo. And then later today, a couple hours later, I was out taking the dog to, it's called Otter Lake in Armstrong, and there's a whole bunch of geese, and there's ducks and swans. And when I was there, I had my eyes closed just for a second, because I was grounding and I was releasing what wasn't serving me, and I was listening because there was a whole bunch of geese and ducks and swans, and they were just like chirping and making noise, and they sounded all happy, and I was like, oh, this is cool, this is really good, like I'm hearing nature. And the dog was just sitting like contently beside me just listening, and all of a sudden I heard, and the eagle swooped in right over top of my head, and it actually picked up a duck that was right down, that had just landed before us, and it dragged it across the lake. I was like, whoo! So, and then after that, I saw quite a few more. So I probably saw about 8 eagles today. But my description about that, about allowing, is that I wasn't, I wasn't, um, I wasn't being all controlling and all worried about, oh my God, I'm not going to see an eagle. Oh my God, what if I do see an eagle? Oh my God, what if my camera isn't ready when I do see? Oh my God, what is it going to mean if I see an eagle? Where am I going to? Should I go outside with a lawn chair and sit because that's the only way I'm going to see an eagle? What should I do? What should I do? Right? So I wasn't stuck in that control phase about what I was asking for, about what I was thinking and believing, about what I was feeling. I just made this whimsical request this morning that it would be great to see some eagles, and boom, I swear I saw about 8 today, and 2 of them were like right over my head, and I was like, thank you. Message received. So I get the sense that that is part of your perspective change, and part of your sense of changing your focus this month when it comes to your own thoughts and beliefs, and when it comes to your own emotions, is about not being wishy-washy, not controlling things, allowing yourself to just send out those requests, because you're amazing manifestors. Cancer can really be really easy about manifesting things, as long as you're feeling grounded into the physical, and you're feeling capable of doing all the things that you want to do, and you're not controlling things in a, but this isn't going to come, but this has to come in this color, but this isn't perfect, but what happens if I lose these friends, and what happens if I hurt myself, and what, right? So if you're doing all of that and you're controlling whatever it is that you're attempting to manifest, then you actually can't focus on loving, and you can't focus on worthiness, and you can't focus on deserving, and you can't focus on bliss and happiness and fun and all those things that you want to focus on, because you're too busy controlling other things. So if you have a sense that you have been controlling things, and that people are not coming to you, that relationships are not coming to you, that you're not as abundant as you want to, then change your focus. Allow yourself to focus on more love, on more fun, on being more deserving and more worthy and more lovable, and all of those things that feel better to you, that feel bigger, that feel stronger, that feel more connected, that feel more like you, rather than people pleasing, rather than being worried about what other people are thinking, rather than feeling naked, because many of us have this tendency to want to be perfect, and that people are going to see our mistakes, and that we're going to feel like people are pointing them out. Well, people are busy, and they're actually seeing different things, and they're I don't want to say that they don't notice, but they don't notice. So I want you to change your focus to be more focused on the things that you do want, the things that are serving you, and the emotions that you want to feel. And yes, you're actually going to have to release some of the emotions that you have been storing, that are connected to situations and experiences and people of your past, but it's definitely going to serve you. And this is interesting as well, because what I was just connecting to was a sense of you not controlling, and a sense of you not being attached to certain outcomes. And the next card that comes up is detach, and it's upside down. And so that makes me think that you're feeling attached to certain things, and that you really need to detach to the control of things. And I get the sense that because this is in reverse, it's about detaching to things that you didn't realize you were attached to. So it may be part of you realizing that your focus has been on things that haven't been serving you, that you thought were serving you. So maybe you thought that staying in a shell that was only big enough to hold yourself, and not big enough for you to move around, or for you to like grow and expand, or for you to you know, put your feet up and watch TV or whatever cancers do in their shells when they're keeping themselves safe, right? I get the sense that you're going to have to detach from things that you didn't realize you were attached to, which again brings me back to this card, because the healing that is happening is at a different or a different layer or a different level or from a different aspect than what you've been seeing. So this Mercury retrograde with communication and with listening and with speaking is about connecting you in a totally different way to heal at different patterns and different things than what you thought. And so maybe it is more connected to emotions to you for you, but the mental and emotional patterns need to shift, and you're detaching from things that you didn't realize you were attached to. And I like that this is an 11, because 11 is about connecting into spirit, it's about grounding, it's about manifestation, it's about going within for your answers, it's about cultivating new ideas, it's about sending the dove. There's a lot of doves in here. I'm going to look that up for you as well, because this woman is sending doves into the past. This woman was also sending doves into the past because Detach is in reverse. So let's check that for you. What is the dove message? The dove says, express your love to as many people as possible in words and in deeds, even in small yet significant ways. And I get the sense that you do that, but I get the sense that even that has to change, that you're actually changing your focus on how you express love and how you share love and who you've been expressing and sharing love with and who you haven't been expressing love and sharing love with. The soul of someone who has recently passed is making a smooth, peaceful, and joyous transition. That's definitely a message that some of you need to hear. That just made the hair on my arm stand up. Whew. The next one that gets flagged in here for me is you're experiencing a spiritual renewal that's the result of a period of intense self-examination and challenges. And I get the sense that that's part of this, because yes, your healing is not just beginning, that your healing is ending, and that you're getting a sense of spiritual renewal, but this Mercury retrograde is going to shift your focus from what you have been doing to something different. So again, you're going to be detaching to something different than what it is you have been working on. And I commend you for that, because I get the sense that you've been doing a lot of work and you've been doing a lot of shifting and you've been doing a lot of expanding, and now you're ready to change it and do that at a different level. So you're it's like you just got upgraded, like yes, that it brings more work when you actually expand and grow and change and shift, but it's brand new challenges, and it's brand new concepts, and it's brand new ideas, and it's a different level of your path and your purpose, and a different sense of passion and inspiration and creativity. So I get the sense that you've moved up from where you were just within the last couple of months since 2018 began, and now you're ready to do this different healing and different sense of focus and different sense of detaching things that you didn't know that you were attached to. And I'm getting the sense that you need 2 more cards. One of them is an archangel card or some kind of guidance from the angelic realm, something to call in to assist you, because you may be like, what am I supposed to be changing my focus to? Interesting card for Cancer. So the card that came through is Clairsentience, and it's Archangel Renewal, Raguel. Archangel Renewal says, notice your reoccurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance. So if you have been ignoring, glute pain keeps coming up for some reason. If you have been avoiding that, then pay attention to how you feel physically. If you have been tired, if you've been feeling drained, if you've been feeling tired in the afternoon, if you've been feeling wide awake before you go to bed, then those are all reoccurring physical or emotional senses, and there's divine guidance around that. So if you're not sure of what the divine guidance around that is, you can call Archangel Renewal in and ask and say, okay, This has been happening. I'd like some clarity on this. Can I get some clarity through a dream so that when I wake up, I know exactly what this means? Or can I get some clarity during this meditation or visualization? So then you're just going to sit down and relax for 15 or 20 minutes and allow some guidance to come in. Or maybe you're just going to ask before you go to bed and say, I'd really like some clarity on this, this, and this. Thank you in advance, Archangel Renewal, for bringing that to me and allowing the divine messages to come through. And I greatly appreciate the divine guidance to just be there when I wake up in the morning and I'm enjoying my coffee or tea or water, whatever it is when you wake up. So you can ask for guidance in that way. And I get the sense that an I am affirmation would be useful for you as well. So I'm going to call in one of those. Ooh. I love it when it happens and it just pops off the top of the deck, right? So this is what we're calling in. You're calling in I am complete. And this is going to take a little digestion on your part about the concept of completeness. But I get the sense that you are complete if you choose the little shell that you're currently in. If you choose to stay outside of a shell, you're still complete even though you don't have a shell around you, Cancer. Or you can still be complete if you choose a bigger shell or a different shell. If you go back to the original shell, that it doesn't matter what you're surrounding yourself with, that you are complete no matter what. I think that's all you need this month. So thank you so much for your time and energy. If you would like a personal reading, I just released something for a couple of you. If you'd like a personal reading, I'll leave my email and contact information below. Make sure you're breathing this month, exhaling away anything that's not serving you, going into nature and breathing some nice fresh air. You are a water sign, so connecting with water is a great idea as you're healing this month. It doesn't really matter if it's a backyard pond. I'm seeing koi fish for some reason, so maybe a fish pond is a good place for you to release and relax. But I would definitely connect with water if you can, even if that's a pond or a lake or a stream rather than an ocean. Allowing the water to heal and take away whatever it is you don't need, and also allow your water to help you change your focus to something else. I'm just calling in some more balance for you this month. So thank you so much for your time and energy. I look forward to connecting with you soon. Namaste, Cancer.